One.
Investors were looking for a good CPI number, and they got it. PPI today, more the same. We'll see that in about 29 minutes. Delta run up to earnings, and they deliver, trading up $1.50. We'll talk about Pepsi and Fastenal. We'll talk options at 8:15 with CC Lagator. And this is pre-market prep on a Thursday.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your hosts, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I'd buy that stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, traders and investors. We're starting out in the green, 17 handles, 24.50, straight up since that 6 p.m. open. If I told you where the daily resistance was, folks, you would fall off your chairs. The buck is under par, down 28 cents at 99.91. Bonds on a couple-day rally, up 8/32 at 126 and 1/32. Crude flat, 75.77. Gold, hey, inflation down, gold up, go figure. Gold up 290, 1964.60. Silver, big day yesterday, tacking on another 18 cents at 24.30. Bitcoin futures, they're up $325 at 30,720. Let's get to the market dynamics. And Dennis, you got to come on and you got to tell me, you're looking at a lot of stocks and everything. Are there any offers out there? Is anyone offering stock for sale? Because a quick story, when I'm back in the pit days, so the market would be going up a strong day, and there was some locals that came in late, and they'd want to get long, and they'd say offer, and then someone would go 50 and a quarter, buy them. That's what this market is. I mean, just offers are just getting lifted. What are you seeing out there?
Same thing. We actually just had a merger announcement here right before the show started. So at 8 o'clock here, ExxonMobil announcing that they are acquiring Denbury, D-E-N, nice, in a $4.9 billion deal, $89.45 per share. I don't have the details here, Mitch. I didn't go open them up here yet. But it sounds like it's
89.
Yeah, not much of a premium here. So DEN 89.45.
Correct there.
Yeah, interesting. It's trading up to 88.50. There's not much of a premium here whatsoever. So maybe that's telling you that there's just not a lot of cool action here. But DEN $88.50. So it's trading up 75 cents. If you own DEN, you're probably very disappointed with lack of a premium there. I mean, they're talking about a 1.5% premium over the close. That's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it's also stating that Denbury shareholders will receive 0.84 shares of ExxonMobil for each Denbury share.
0.84. So it's actually going to be a stock. So that's nice.
It's
an
all stock.
We love those from a risk arbitrage perspective. It gives us stuff to trade. So the cash deals, it's just over the trade. This is stock deal, so that's good. Give me the ratio here again.
It's going to be Denbury shareholders will receive 0.84 shares of ExxonMobil for each Denbury share.
0.84. So we'll follow ExxonMobil and we'll follow Denbury off of this. That's very interesting that we get just a lack of a premium here, though, Joel. What are your thoughts? I mean,
you know what my
you
thoughts
get a merger?
An algo red 9. They're like me. I'm like, well, it can't be 88, right? Because that's right where it's at.
Did it tick up to 98?
Yeah.
No, we got to look. I'm going to look at the tape.
Whoops.
Maybe that's a mistake. That's got to be a mistake. Hang on. No, it's not. Oh my gosh. What? What algo is reading that?
I don't know.
92, 93, 95, 97, 99, 88, 280 shares that bought up there. I'm just looking at the tape here right now. Just pissing money away there. I mean, we talk about the algos, and and you can see it's all on the headline. So I highly doubt that's a human. What exact time was the release? Let's just see. It was at 8:00. We're going to look here right now.
Yeah,
We're going
8:00.
Okay, so these trades
Oh.
happen at 8:00. These trades actually happen slightly after it here. I'm just trying to grab it here.
How quick
Yeah,
was it?
8:01 was. I just pulled up the 1 minute here.
Just hang on. I'm grabbing my ticker. Okay, we're gonna
Okay.
go look at the actual
Yeah.
trade. So at 8:00, it traded up to 89.47, 89.50, 89.50, and then 03. So all these happened 3 seconds after. Not a lot of humans responding in 3 seconds, but maybe there's a human that really went, oops, it could have been a human. And 3 seconds later, it's possible. I'm just trying to think, what are they thinking? So they must just announce, they see, you know what it is? The headline from Business, from the Wire, just reads ExxonMobil announces acquisition of Denbury. So, I mean, you've got to go and open it up to see the 89.45 price. But wow, I mean, I'm shocked, that somebody pays up $10 just on the headline, assuming it's a lot higher the price. Massive disappointment. Somebody's threw away 10 points.
10 points. I don't know how big of a deal this is. ExxonMobil got hit a little bit, but it's basically flat. Good resistance at 108. If we go into rally mode here, I see a trio of highs flanking that 108 area. But you know what, Dennis? You know what the first thing that popped into my mind when you said that? And you know what stock I immediately went to? PXD.
I thought that too. It's funny. I thought the exact same thing.
That's right. Stock I pulled up.
Well, there was rumors that Exxon was going to buy PXD. So, and I'm long PXD, full disclosure. It's actually back to where I bought it, just around there. 217 is a little higher than I paid, but basically same price. Does that kill those rumors?
We'll have to see.
Does that
it didn't go down.
To,
it didn't go down. It didn't go
it
down.
It hasn't went down. It's actually going up on it. So maybe they think there's going to be more M&A action because of this. I mean, PXD is a target. There's no doubt. So you can read this two ways. One, maybe ExxonMobil was a fly in here. That's why I'm going like that. Damn flies. But no, I'm trying to, I'm trying on trade here, and I got like my hands getting hit and landed by a fly.
Dennis has it all.
I know. I got the kid with a fly swatter. I pay him 50 cents if he gets a fly. So I'll bring him in here. He's a capitalist. I'm torn here. Because one, it takes maybe ExxonMobil out of the running for a stock like PXD. But if you start seeing M&A action happen here, maybe, just maybe, other people think, ooh, because PXD, I would say, is a target for some of these.
Yeah.
That's the main reason that I was in that one, is I think it's a target.
I want to do a quick address into the chat. They were asking if I was still short XOM. No, I covered some at the 102 area just because I was waiting for that break. But I was like, we've been down here 3 times. I have to take some profits. It started coming back. And then with the recent mention from the EIA, immediately I switched on that because they were stating $78 of crude for July and in the 80s for the rest of the year. That's not what I want to see. If I want to be short oil, I want to see oil back down in the 60s and going into the 50s.
Yeah, that 102 was a great level. I remember talking about it that day.
It's
some
important.
levels are good, for like at least the first time, a bounce. And you'd been down there 3-4 times. And
after that fourth try, it's probably coming back to resistance. And that's what I thought. And just as quickly, 4 days, back to resistance.
All right, Delta's flying here up near the $50 level.
Clear for takeoff. Let's go. Delta Airlines Q2 EPS $2.68, beat $2.39 estimate. Operating revenues at $15.6 billion. They raised fiscal year EPS guidance to $6 to $7 versus a $6.15 estimate. Delta Airlines sees Q3 EPS at $2.20 to $2.50 versus a $2.05 estimate. And of course, what was particularly strong in the earnings report was transatlantic travel. So definitely people going to Europe.
Oh, what can you think about is set $50 on this one? Huge run up. You had tried to break out yesterday. You didn't. I just don't know what you've traded over 50. You've traded to 50-20. So be one of those that if you open 50 bid and you run up and then come back down through 50, I'm not sure where you would go as far as support goes. The top of yesterday's range was 49. Don't know if you'll get that low, but let's see if the paper stacks up at 50. A lot of stock has already traded. 1 million shares have traded in the pre-market. Triple D, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I mean, this just proves once again, this is the market that prices in nothing. This is the most ignorant market I've ever seen. Just prices in, doesn't anticipate. The people who say this market prices all information out 6 months don't know what they're talking about. This market prices in nothing. We all knew Delta was going to beat. Delta said they were going to beat. We knew Delta would have good guidance. We knew, like the guy's been on CNBC 3 times in the last month, tooting his own horn how good they're doing. I mean, and now they beat, and the stock goes up again. It goes up into it because everybody knew they were going to beat, and now it goes up again. I mean, it's just simplistic here. I guess you just buy, when you know that they're going to beat it. It's like we all know. You said it for the last 2 months. We've just heard how good you're doing because he brags all the time on CNBC. He was on there again this morning. I mean, we know Delta's doing really well. So, you think like logically it's run from 40 to 48 and because this, the CEO has been telling how good they're doing. And then it comes out and beats and it goes up more. So, I mean, again, the market that prices in absolutely nothing. This is just opportunities for humans. I mean, it's so algorithmic driven. The market is so algorithmic driven. The algos, we're not at the AI level yet. They're just literally looking at headlines and looking beat, raise, buy. We knew that was coming. He said that was coming. So is there, a buy now and then, maybe some selling? You would think, but I mean, it's a good quarter. Delta's firing on all cylinders. I don't want to be short it because the thing's doing well. 50 is a logical stopping point for it. But if I just can't, think that there's going to be like, this going up $4 or $5 because this is new information. And this isn't information that we knew. The stock is up 20% in the last month because Delta has been saying how well they are doing. So again, just talking about this market, it prices in nothing.
You know what? I still go back to, Dennis, and we got the alert really early in the year, and this is what got me a little bit excited. And it was an almost unbelievable line that came from UAL. Remember, they gave this at the beginning of the year. This was given on January 17th. They stated that they saw $10 to $12 on the EPS versus a $6.54 estimate. This is when I started looking like, man, they see that much money being made this year?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're missing something that everybody else isn't thinking about.
UAL,
they gave you
the
heads up.
$45 money, Mitch.
Yeah.
We were $45. We were talking about this and saying, if this does anything what they say they're going to be, it's trading 4.5 times earnings. We talked about it. Go back to the shows from 2 months ago. We talked about this one. And, we should maybe just bought all the airlines, and just went with it because they told us they were going to do well
for a little while there.
And they are doing well.
Look at Love. Can you believe that? That is the biggest. That has to be the biggest monthly move in June that thing has had to the upside. Well, I guess back during COVID, it also.
We talked about that one here too.
We know they're doing well.
The smallest amount of love could maybe get these laggards moving. Also, JetBlue moving up. I mean, these were still opportunities, and now they've definitely taken off. So it's going to be very hard to try to jump into this play.
Yeah, you've missed it. You're jumping on that moving train. It's like I was telling that story yesterday with the trader beside me that kept jumping on all the moving trains, and he kept falling onto the tracks and eventually blows out his account. And I'm like, you got to be jumping on before the train leaves the station. That UAL was at the station in all of April, all of May, into June before it started finally breaking out in the second week of June. So, and we know that they've continued. Delta's the same story. They're all the same story. The Paris trade, the second week of June, it was green light go. It was that day that IWM actually broke out over 180. That's when the green light went on for all of this stuff. The value trade came back into favor, and it's been going ever since. So, it's hard to come in here now, but they're firing on all cylinders. There's absolutely no doubt. And sometimes you just got to take what the CEOs are saying at face value, not read between the lines, not think, oh, they won't hit that. They say we're killing it and we're going to kill it. Maybe you just buy the stocks.
All right. Well, we got our guest a little bit early today, of course, as we'll get PPI today reporting at 8:30. We'll also get initial jobless claims. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to see maybe some fireworks at 8:30, but we got our guest right now, guys. So smash the like. Let's get to it.
All right, CC Lagator from toolsoptionai.com. He's the founder, and I don't know if you were listening before you came on, but Dennis was just talking about how this market prices in nothing. And I see your talking point on this is he's correct. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, it was a perfect segue actually to what you and I were talking about discussing today. So the last couple of times I've been on the show, we've talked about how low vol got, how low implied volatility and options got, right? And a couple of weeks ago, it was multi-year lows, like the VIX had a 12 handle, weekly vol and SPY. I was seeing single digits. And what that did is it set up something very interesting for earnings season in which the vol going into these earnings announcements is, and the expected moves that come, like we talk about the expected moves and how options are pricing a move on these earnings events. They're basically at 15-year lows. And Goldman put out a note the other day, basically saying, I wrote it down, across the entire, I think it was S&P 500 was their study, it's options are pricing about a 3.6% expected move for earnings across the board versus a 4.9% average over the last 15 years. And so basically, to Dennis's point, what you're seeing is that the options market is still kind of living, 3 weeks ago when after this, SPX went sideways for 2.5 months, right? And it's kind of living in the past, and we're about to hit earnings season. It started essentially today and it picks up tomorrow. And most of these options are not, I've written down tomorrow, we've got Wells Fargo and JP Morgan. JP Morgan options are pricing about a 2.4% move. JP Morgan's moved more than that in 6 out of their last 8 earnings reports. Wow. Right? And Wells Fargo's the same. It's 3% expected move. It's moved 5 out of 8 of its last moves have been bigger than that. And typically what you would see in sort of a normal vol environment or a high vol environment, like the VIX is 19 or VIX is 22 or something like that, is that 70% of stocks stay within their expected move or at or within their expected move, right? And so it's why people warn you, don't own options into earnings, because you've got to not only get the move correct, the direction correct, but you also have to get the magnitude of the move correct, right? And then the options collapse after the event. This case, it's a very strange setup in that, I was looking even forward to Amazon is like a 6 point, it doesn't report for a week and a half or 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. And it's right now, the options are pricing a 6.5% expected move. That includes like the week and a half leading up to earnings, where where anything can happen. And Amazon has moved more than that in 6 out of their last 8 earnings.
Good
right?
Stats.
So it's like really kind of like a wild setup. Now that doesn't mean that the options market tends to be self-fulfilling. We're probably not going to see massive moves, right? Because vol's low, there's a lot of gamma in the market. But the chances of a stock staying within its expected move are much lower than they typically are. And what that means for, traders like, Delta, we were talking about Delta. That was a 3.7% expected move going into earnings. And what's it up for or something?
3.9 now. So
okay, now it's 3.9, but I think I saw it earlier, like 4.5. Yeah. Pepsi, I think is, that was a 2% expected move. And I think to Dennis's point, or maybe it was Joel, you said about like where are the offers? My guess, my hunch is the outperformance on these options expected moves are going to be to the upside, right? And so that what that means as a trader, it doesn't necessarily mean go out and buy a bunch of calls in every stock that's about to report. But what it does mean is like if you own calls, if you own call spreads, if you own that sort of thing, normally you'd get very nervous going into an earnings event and you'd be like, I don't want to hold those options through this earnings and watch it go from 70 vol to 45 vol the next morning. That risk is really mitigated right now, right? And so if you had like kind of, especially like, you're looking out a month, you're playing one of these stocks that keeps running higher, Delta would have been a great example, right? If you were playing a stock like that and you owned calls or call spreads or something like that, you probably didn't need to panic going into earnings and like, clear that position. So it's a very interesting setup.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing here too. And I actually made this argument funny last earnings season. I was making this argument because we're in this market where there's a lot of people who have missed the rally.
Yeah.
So when you get the dips on these stocks, a lot of times they get bought back in a few days. And when they rip, they continue to go. And, we were in a setup last earnings season was similar actually, where it seemed like dips were getting bought and the stocks beat, they were really popping. I made this argument. I was like, you could actually, if you're a quant, just buy every single stock that reports, every single one.
Right.
And I think you'd make money because you're going to have some losers and some winners, but the winners really pop and the losers drop, but then some of them pop back. So there was probably an argument just to be long and I'm wondering if it's not the same this earnings season. I mean, so far so good.
To your point, Dennis, it's funny. The ones that went this morning, and obviously it's as small as of a sample size as one could have, but Fastenal and ConAgra, they were down, but they're not even close to what their expected moves were to the downside, right? And so, but initially they were, right? So I think it was like Fastenal initially dropped, immediately got bought, I think. It's been a few minutes since I looked at it, right? So to your point, that's exactly what's happening on the downside, right? Yeah. And so that's why my hunch is that you see a 4% expected move, you get a 7% move. That's probably going to happen more to the upside than to the downside.
I think so too. So I think a bias into this earnings season, as long as the narrative doesn't change from the Fed, or we don't get something from China or macro catalyst that takes the narrative away.
Right.
I think the bias should still remain, to your point, to the upside. So if you're buying options, I'd be leaning on calls instead of puts. And I think a lot of people are still thinking, this NVIDIA, I'm going to buy puts because it's eventually going down. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many people who have missed this rally. There are dip buyers beneath, and there isn't a lot of sellers. To Joel's point when he opened the show, who's selling?
Yep. Yeah, you would have to time that move very well. And, it's something you don't hear me come on this show very often and talk about buying options, right?
Yeah.
I mean, options in general, and anybody that works professionally and does lots of trades, they generally have a bias towards selling options, right? Options generally are a little bit overpriced normally. But this is one of those cases. And like, you talk about the story stocks like NVIDIA and all, like absolutely, because what would normally be happening in a higher vol environment, let's say, even an average vol environment, VIX 19, let's say, excuse me, a rip like in one of those story stocks, like the AI stocks or any of these ones that we've seen go hockey stick in the last like month or two, their vol actually would be popping, right? Because what would happen is you have all of this like upside call buying and retail call buying and all, and the vol would actually go up. Like if you were making a move that fast to the upside. What's happening is with the VIX 13 or 14 or whatever it is today, it's sort of putting a governor on the ability for even the individual stocks vol to pop on the upside, which means you're not crazy if that's how you're playing in NVIDIA right now, right? You're buying a $5 call, and I would say that means that like sort of the at the money stuff is really kind of dollar cheap. And you should start looking at that stuff too. An at the money call, you don't need that stock to rip much higher to hit that break even.
This all makes sense.
Yeah, I think, you're definitely giving a lot of people some gold in the chat right there. If they don't understand what you just said, this is one of those interviews that you might want to listen back again after the show so you can really understand kind of the strategy that CC is explaining here. There's multiple plays that he explained it. So for all you traders out there that are kind of new and might have gotten just a little bit confused there, definitely rewatch the interview. You guys will be able to jump on that. Now, CC, of course, one thing that I've been noticing is what about the VIX, right? Is the VIX just not what it was before? Because it just doesn't seem like it gets the lift here.
Yeah, and so the VIX it's kind of interesting. It's two different dynamics. Sorry, head cold. The VIX is sort of like looking out basically like a month, right? On average, it's sort of like this rolling window and you're kind of seeing like 30-day IV, right? There is not like a ton on the calendar other than individual like idiosyncratic stock moves on the, on the horizon, right? For the next like 30 days. And we've got the Fed and all, but everybody kind of knows what's going on at this point. And so the VIX is, kind of looking out 30 days. What became really fascinating in the last month or so was the near term, like weekly vol in like SPY and QQQ got so low. And part of, people were attributing that to like zero DTE traders, it's like just selling premium every day and all. And they were keeping a governor on near term, like weekly vol, right? And that's changed a little bit, I would say, in like the last week or so, especially coming out of the holiday. And then the VIX is sort of like, you would need to see the VIX started to creep up from the lows, the last few days, but you would need to see some headlines, like some macroeconomic headlines and all, or some, when was the last time we had that? Like the bank, the regional bank crisis.
Yeah. No, definitely. And one thing I clearly see is just, if you're expecting to see this downturn, at least I don't think the VIX is showing us that for a forward-looking kind of outlook there. But like always, you guys can keep up with all of this. Check out toolsoptionsai.com if you haven't done so in the past. Anything that we need to know about Option AI that they might not know of right now, CC? Is there any good specials going on?
A couple of things. A lot of the things we talked about, like you can go onto the free tools and use those, and you can go, you can see the expected move charts. You can also go down to the earnings tab, which will be really helpful. And that'll show you like what I was talking about, like the last 8 reports and like what it moved and like what it's, and then on top of that, we are in the App Store, our brokerage app. Nice. And it's super cool. And if anybody, and you have to be in the US, but if anybody wants to go check that out, that is in the App Store right now. And you open up an account and fund it with like $1, we give you $25.
That's what I like to hear there. Well, there you guys heard it first. There,
that's arbitrage right there.
Don't do $1. I'm just saying there's no minimum.
All right. Well, there you guys got it. CC Lagator, thank you for coming on today. We'll definitely have you back, my friend.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get to it. Of course, we're going to get some numbers here. PPI wide. Coming in here. And yes, Dennis, go wide.
Maybe just pull my offers and leave my bids. That might be the way to play the market here because they're buying dips anyway. So leave your dips. So if it dips off the bat, you want to be long. If it rips, it just keeps ripping. So pull your offers, leave your bids. It might be the way to play it.
All right. We'll find out momentarily. 5 seconds away. Pre-market high 25.75. Folks, I told you I don't see much resistance in this market on a dip. Let's see what happens. There's a little dip. Algo jumpers.
Preview numbers here. PPI is 0.4 consensus year over year. Prior 1.1. The month over month number is 0.2. When we get the core, year over year outlook is at 2.7, prior being 2.8. Let's see what we get today, team.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, month over month numbers already coming in here. You guys see it. We're getting it quick. PPI month over month 0.1 versus 0.2. The core PPI at 0.1 versus 0.2 estimates. So a little bit light there.
Yeah.
That should help the market. And a
Yeah.
lot of people take a look at PPI like the leading indicator, and CPI is more of a lagging indicator. So let's see if the market takes off here.
I don't even think the market knows, because CNBC is just doing a Iger interview for us 1 straight hour.
Yeah, Iger's been up.
They're trying to go.
PPI.
They're like, think this could be the Musk interview. So they're like giving her here. They're like, oh yeah, Faber comes on, then we can and we get all this, So we don't even care about the PPI data or anything like that right now, which is absurd.
I'll tell you right now. Well, the year-over-year number, light. June 0.1 versus 0.4 estimate. Prior, that 0.9. So at least a year-over-year number, really good. Initial jobless claims coming in at 237,000 versus 250,000. Seems like jobless claims will never get higher, but that's just from what we're seeing out there. PPI coming in pretty light today.
Can we talk Disney for a second here?
Do you want to talk Disney?
Yeah, because the PPI, we haven't even moved, so we'll move away from the PPI here for now. Let's talk Disney for a second.
Let's go. It's
Iger,
already getting hit.
We just said Iger's on CNBC for an hour here. He announced officially, so the news last night, give us that money, Mitch, because it looks like Iger's staying on.
Yep. Disney is extending CEO Bob Iger's contract through 2026. And so, of course, he is doing an interview right now. He's been on since 8 a.m. So he's still on. It's 8:32, man.
Boy, this is not Musk, guys. CNBC producers, this is not
He's not Musk.
It's not worth an hour of your time here. I know the Musk interview is fascinating. You're not going to get the same results off this Iger interview. This is a mistake. Maybe we should be the producers over there or helping them out a little bit, but we do the better content over here at Benzinga. Yeah, this is a waste of time, an hour with Iger. That's just dumb in my opinion. Musk was awesome in that interview though, Faber. So you do a great job. It's just the wrong person, not Iger. And I think this is the wrong person for Disney here as well. So Disney, Iger's been there for how long? When did he come? Year and a half ago? Execution has lacked here significantly. I don't think another 2 years of Iger is what Disney needs.
Nope.
The stock has popped on this, one, because, we got the big CNBC interview and people are, getting ahead of that. And two, now we have certainty, certainty. But, you look at everyone else, like think about, other, businesses and, think about like travel right now. Think about what has been happening with travel. You got cruise lines
should be going,
airlines blasting off, and they're telling me the parks are at like multi-year lows. That's what they're telling us right now. Disney's doing something wrong.
Spending less on content, cutting on ESPN.
Terrible.
It just doesn't seem like any part of the business is looking good.
No.
Disney Plus not looking good. ESPN not looking good. We already know Hulu is just kind of a nothing burger there already.
This is a mistake to just leave Iger. And it's telling me maybe they don't have anybody else for the job so that he's sticking on. They haven't found the right person for the job, so we'll just keep going with Iger. Point. But I just think there's so many issues here. So the stock up on this now, 60 cents up this. I think this is actually bad news for the stock. So I'm making a bold call here. But I think Disney goes red on this eventually. Because I just think look at the lack of performance here. And now you're going with the same person that hasn't got you out of this mess. I mean, with cruise lines and airlines killing it, and Disney, the crowds at the parks are at multi-year lows. I mean, I've been trying to be bullish Disney for a long time here. This move does not make me bullish Disney. So I know it's sitting at the lows. I know if you do valuation and looking forward, it doesn't look that expensive. But man, they are just not firing on any cylinders. There's Delta that's firing on all cylinders, and there's Disney that's firing on none. And now you tell me I got to have 2 more years of this guy. I mean, again, Iger, he's got the history here, but right now, whatever Iger is doing is not working. So we need to change it up. I don't want 2 more years of Iger. It makes me not want to buy the stock.
And they need something. I don't know what it. I mean, the way they're getting rid of people at ESPN, Disney Plus. It just seems like something major, and getting a new CEO would be something major here. But they're not doing it here. Disney. We looked at the chart. There's really not much to say about it. It hasn't participated with its peers at all. But you know what I want to do real quick, since we're talking about Disney, what about the other parks? How are they doing?
Comcast, maybe.
No. What's
Well, you can
what's-
look at like Six Flags if you want. Maybe
Six.
it's an issue. Like Six Flags is
That
not
doesn't give them
doing
a little bit of a
well.
help, but
Yeah, you can look at Cedar Fair.
fun.
See
Yeah.
it's Cedar Point there. We know Sandusky, Ohio, Cedar
about
Point. That's fun.
SeaWorld?
They're not doing
Can't
great
move.
either. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different experiences. Maybe people are sick
Yeah,
of the
no.
same old thing. Like I go to Cedar Point, I'll go to SeaWorld, I go to Disney World. Maybe people are looking to do different stuff. And maybe that is the issue here, because it's a good point, Joel.
Yep.
SeaWorld's not doing great. Stock's not doing great. Fun is not looking good. I mean, there's a lot of things that you think travel's doing so well right now. Why are these stocks not killing it? But they're not. So there's something else happening with the consumer here. And, hearing that the parks, like the lines, makes you kind of want to go if the lines are short.
Could also be affecting
that's not
these-
good for your stock.
What could also be affecting these stocks is minimum wage increases, right? So in 23 of April, on April 20th, there was an increase of the minimum wage from $15 to $18 for
That
full-time
hurts.
workers at Walt Disney World. And I think this is playing a factor for all of these, right? Maybe even Six Flags, right? They have to pay their employees more, which takes away from their margins. And so where will Disney make up for it? Well, you see the ticket prices going higher. Eventually that does what to the demand? It starts to hurt the demand also. So,
Well,
I mean,
what is it for a ticket? Let's go look.
Oh,
I'm
it's
going to Disney
excessive,
World.
man.
Magic Kingdom, 1-day pass. Help me out, Google.
I think someone said $300.
No, can't be that.
For 2022, it was at
Won't be that
109 and maxed out at 189. And that was in 22.
So 189 gets you some extra perks or something. It's 124 to 189 is the current prices, but I don't know what the difference is. So obviously maybe 124, maybe the 189 gives you like park hopping or something. I don't know. But
yeah, it went from 109 to going up to 121 on the cheapest one.
It's not cheap. And we know that. But again, people have been paying it, and the parks had been doing really well, but they're starting to, not do well here. So there's some issues. There's some issues here at Disney. And I guess, they think Iger is the person to still clean it up and then hand it over once he cleans it up. But I just don't know if I agree with that. And that's why, I'm somewhat skeptical of this up move here this morning in Disney. Again, we're in this bull market. It's hard to be bearish stocks, because everything just seems to go up. And here's a stock that hasn't went yet. Like here's a stock that's sitting on the lows. Here's a stock, if it wasn't Disney, that we'd probably be like, yeah, this one could have a catch-up trade here. But now you announce the same stuff. I would have rather seen like some cool, like you said, young blood or something coming in. We're mixing it up because, the new Star Wars content was not good. None of the new Star Wars movies were good. 7, 8, and 9 were a disaster. I don't know if that was under Iger, but I just don't see, Iger's been there for what? It has to be over a year and a half.
Yeah, it did get that big pop. I'm trying to look.
It's got to be a year here at least. He's been.
I bet you was it August of 2022 because you got the ridiculous pop.
Maybe.
I think.
So maybe we haven't given Iger enough time. Maybe we're being too hard on Iger. You can't turn a ship around in 1 year, but I just don't see anything getting better. And, when you hear the parks at, multi-year lows in attendance, it makes me very, very scared. And I don't know if that's accurate or true, but that's what was being reported. So makes me scared. So I do love the 90 level on Disney. I think there's a technical, I think you've got some support here, but it just doesn't feel like the headline to drive us going higher. I'd rather have seen something else.
I'll wrap up with some facts there. Of course, just a little fact. Iger returned in Disney in November. So he's been there since November.
Maybe not long enough.
And,
maybe we're being too hard on him, Joel.
One thing that I'll talk about, though, this isn't the first time that he gets extended on his tenure, right? On 4 different occasions between 2013 and 2017, he extended his tenure. So it looks like this has happened plenty of times in the past. They just don't know who is, I guess, good enough like Iger to take over. I mean,
I think they don't have anybody else.
They don't have anybody. They don't, at least in their minds, the board, there's nobody better than Iger right now.
That's what it is. They just don't
until
have
they find
anyone
that
else
person
ready to go.
they're probably going to be struggling. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the disaster stock of the day. Viasat shares sinking nearly 20% in extended trading after the company revealed an issue in its recently launched communications satellites. And we're talking about VSAT, ticker VSAT, and definitely taking a hit. It sat down all right.
I don't know anything about this company other than obviously it's in the satellite business and obviously not doing very good at it. If their satellite they've recently launched doesn't work.
Well, it just had some issues, right? And then that's the part of launching satellites into space that you got to be careful with, right? I mean, they could run into some issues getting it up there, right? And now that it's already up there, what do you do?
SpaceX. Got to go with Musk. Maybe they do.
Yeah, that might have been. What did they use to go up? Could have been something to play off sympathy here. I don't know if they use maybe a Rocket Lab rocket to get it up there. I got to do a little bit more research on that, but that's something that I would just maybe look at.
Huge support at $30.
I knew you were going to say that.
Enormous. This is the Harlan pie.
Yeah, Joe's like,
look
you
at your
stole my
90.
thunder.
I could
look
tell
at
it.
your weekly and what level jumps out at you. 30 jumps out at you hard. I would think it's going to bounce at 30. Nothing is in stone. Nothing always works, but I would think there's a hard support at 30.
Yeah, all the monthlies are there. I'll just give you, I mean, right now, someone's got a step down seller here ever since the news came up. They took a little break, but they came right back at it at 4 a.m., trading at the lows of the pre-market session. And then Dennis is mentioning here are your monthly lows, 29.36, 29.91. And also even another monthly low here at 32. So we'll see what happens if it gets down to that area. But there's not 1 month, not 2 months, but 3 months, just about 4 months that you take that level. So is this helping out any other companies that might be on the other end of this? Is this pretty specific?
I just don't see space as being like the hot area. Maybe you can take a look at SPCE, but I wouldn't.
How did that do after the
pops and drops, right?
Yeah.
Pops and drops, not the area that I want to be thinking
Joel,
about.
Though. We're back, Mitch. We're back at support at 350, 360.
Yeah, I mean, we've been down here multiple times. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. But the truth is do I want a company that makes money by tourism in space? Not what I want, at least. There's a lot of other opportunities, I feel like. But hey, to each his own, right? And that's the opportunity you guys like. Let's go to PepsiCo as they reported earnings, also adjusted to $2.09, beat the $1.96 estimate. Sales of $22.32 billion, beat the $21.73 billion estimate. They raised fiscal year 23 outlook. That's giving them a little bit of a lift here. But is this a company we're looking at? What do you guys think?
Oh, no. Consumer staple. I mean, I think there's overhead supply even on these stocks here now. It's like, again, 2.7%. What's the growth here? I mean, is there huge growth? I highly doubt it. I haven't looked at Pepsi fundamentals. But, what's the earnings? So earnings, they beat. Yeah, it was a good quarter. They beat. But, I mean, it's a consumer staple. Again, I'd rather be in treasuries than consumer staples. If I'm coming into this market, I'm coming for an AI story. I'm coming for growth. I'm coming in to make 40, 50% on a stock, not making 5, 10%. Because if I can make 5% risk-free right now, so I'm not entering stocks looking for 5 or 6%.
Popped 188.40. Had been in a downtrend here, pretty heavy downtrend since making that new all-time high in May. I like this 188 area. I mean, it's even exact high at 188. So we'll see if we can open at that area. I think anything above 188 today would be gravy on the upside. You are getting into a big bar, but I'd focus on that for longs. Not buying it up here either, up 433, 113,000 shares have traded, but 3 tops, almost 4 tops in that area back in June. So we'll keep an eye on that. Coca-Cola, same kind of chart. It's getting a little pop off this one, up 43 cents.
Selling the rep on Coke.
Yeah, Keurig Dr. Pepper.
That's my opinion.
What else do we have? What else? You know what? If you're gonna buy Have you seen
I'll tell
this?
you, if you're gonna buy a
Celsius.
drink, exactly. You're buying Celsius.
There you
Guess who
go.
had
You
a
got
Celsius-
momentum. You got
Guess who had a
growth.
Celsius yesterday? Right here, baby. Let's go.
Man, look
Sparkling
at that.
guava.
You've got growth. You've got a story. You've got, a stock near a 52-week high in consolidation station, looking like it's ready to break out to me. I mean, if bear market comes back, the
Monster
stock has run a
too.
long ways. But you can
Looks
put on
like-
any trade as long as you have your out. I would say on Celsius, I wouldn't want to be long if it fell below 140. So you risk yourself $10 here, and you think you're in consolidation station. Maybe this runs another 20 or $30. It's possible. So I'd say if I'm doing $10 risk, which I would be doing if I bought this at 150 or 151, I guess it is right now, I'd stop myself out under 140. So you'd want your target to be at least 160. There's a swing trade we just set up for you.
I'll do a little tangent here. I wanted to talk about did you guys ever hear about the story with the Harrier jet and the Pepsi points?
What?
No, you don't know about that story? Well, check
so.
it out. There's an actual documentary on Netflix about it. It was all about Pepsi, and they did this giveaway that if you got 7 million points, you'd get yourself a Harrier fighter jet. And they eventually did. There's this one kid that goes crazy and literally gets the points, and he's like, well, deliver my Harrier jet, man. You said I'd get it if I got 7 million points. If you guys don't know, this jet costs hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not like they were actually good planning.
Did he get
on
the jet?
delivering it. No, he doesn't get the jet in the long run. So check it out. Check it out on Netflix. It's a wild story.
You just ruined that.
indeed.
But that's crazy you don't get the jet.
No, but check it out. It was still really fun to kind of check it out. So it's a great documentary to check it out. And you might not like Pepsi that much afterwards, but that's just a heads up.
That's brutal. He doesn't get the jet. I hate Pepsi now. Now I want to just go out there in the open market and short the stock right now just because of that story.
I think we're
mad.
wearing off on Mitch as far as these tangents go. But
I couldn't help myself
at
there.
least that
tangents.
at least
that
it
was pretty good. That was a good
it was a
one.
factual tangent, unlike
Yeah.
mine, which are some of them
Which
are
is
made
stuff
up
you've
a
dreamed up in your old age.
little. Yeah. All right, I had something.
All right,
happened.
let's go to someone that stepped up to the plate today. JP Morgan downgrading Carvana to underweight and
Bold
announcing a
call.
$10 price target.
Oh,
Step up to the plate, JP Morgan.
that is the contrarian call of the year, at least for having guts. I don't know if it's going to be right, but man, do they have guts to make this call here. They're looking at the blow off top yesterday. I mean, the stock went from 24 to 44 in 4 days. They're saying it blow off top, upside capitulation. They're reading their charts. I could see what they're looking at, but that is a bold call to come out with the price target at $10 too, when the thing's at 37 or 38.89. Bold call, JP Morgan. I'll give you 2 thumbs up for the guts. I don't know if I'm going with you or not, but I'd probably stay away from this one because when they're squeezing, these stocks can go anywhere. I'm not sure if the squeeze is over or not, but JP Morgan's trying to put an end to the squeeze.
And it's not even at yesterday's low. It's not even at the low from yesterday's session at 35.59. So, I mean, it's down 276, couple million shares.
That's a gutsy call.
Yeah, they get it. First things, I'm not buying it, but I'm just saying you takes out yesterday's low.
Who's the analyst?
Does.
Do we have the analyst? Can you go into the pro? And look at the
Yeah,
analyst
let me
name?
see if I get the analyst right quick. I got you guys. Just give me
We
a
can go
couple
into the
seconds
pro.
here.
We can grab the analyst name. I got to give him some kudos just for having guts to make a call like that. Because so many analysts, like we talk, like 80% of these guys just like Domino's Pizza today.
Yeah.
We chase price. So yeah, thanks for the upgrade here. Meta gets an upgrade today. I mean, these are all just chasing price. Oh yeah, where were you 3 months ago in this 200? Now it's 313, and now you're upgrading it. So at least I love the contrarian calls. I'm a contrarian at heart, and I just like that they have some guts to step out, not just going with the flow. So who is this guy or girl?
Raja Gupta is his name. And so we'll see what happens.
That.
He stepped up to the plate here.
Well, Racha, whether that's a guy or a girl's name, I do not know. But Racha, we like your guts.
There you go. You guys can
The
give him
bold
an email
call
today.
of the day. We should start doing a segment. The lemming call of the day and the bold call of the day. The lemming call of the day is the meta upgrade for sure.
This is definitely a bold call here.
A bold call of the day goes to Racha from JP Morgan.
Right
so that's
there,
why I think we should have a lemming call and a bold call. We're giving the lemming call to the meta person, and we're giving the bold call. That doesn't mean it's going to be right. It just means it took some guts.
What about Alcoa coming back up at
Well, you got
30?
that dead wrong. We called that too. We're like, this is like that was like really chasing. Who was that downgrade 3 days ago? We
I
even
don't
called,
know.
like, could it turn on the downgrade? And it did. You know, it's just been such in the gutter, and everything is starting to rally. And then you downgrade a stock at its 52-week low, going with the trend. Johnny come lately, not having a lot of fun with that call right now. They bottom ticked it. They bottom ticked it.
I'll tell you what's firing on all cylinders. Meta, of
That's what we
course.
said.
Meta's shares are
man.
trading higher after TD Cohen upgrades the stock from market perform to outperform and raising its price target from 220 to 345.
This is the lemming call of the day.
Also
We just
reported
go
the company.
we follow everyone else. Oh, everybody else is upgraded Meta. I better upgrade Meta too.
I mean, Threads is doing some real damage here. And I talked about how you quickly start seeing that advertisers are switching from Twitter to Threads. And what was the front page of CNBC yesterday? Exactly that.
I
But
gotta
you know
pop.
what? Here's the problem with Threads. It's like I went and opened up a Threads account, and I threaded, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. What do they call Threads? I mean, it's weird.
We did
Tweets is actually cool.
I don't know.
I threaded it.
You
I
threaded it.
threaded 3 things. And I never looked at it. Like, I threaded again something the other day, but I mean, I never really logged in again. So I'm like, it's going to be hard because, like, I don't want to rebuild that following or have to try to rebuild that whole following there. So it's like the influencers almost got to start. Not that I'm an influencer, but, you know, I've got 20,000 followers, so I don't want to rebuild to 20,000. Imagine you're like, you know, somebody with 1 million followers or 2 million followers. You really want to sit there and try to rebuild that when you already have it built in Twitter? I think they'll have a problem. I think a lot of people will sign up off the hop, but I'm just not sure, like, you're going to get everybody to switch over and stop tweeting and start threading, because I'm going to thread to 130 people when I can tweet to 20,000. I mean, unless you link them up and you just do both, which maybe people are going to do. I kind of just gravitated directly back to Twitter, and I didn't look at Threads again. And I put the notifications on my Threader. I even eliminated that now. So I'm like, I could see me even deleting the app. Like, I don't know if I'm just going to become a Threader unless, you know, everybody moves over there. I just think we've got such, you know, we've built such a community on Twitter. It's not that quick to just take that away. So I think everybody's giving, you know, too much credit to Meta for this Threads.
I think they both are worthless. 350.
You tweet, Joel. You're a tweeter. I see.
Yeah, I mean, I tweet. Yeah,
I would miss Twitter. I won't miss Threads. If they
no more mean tweets. No matter how much people try and
we gotta stop. Yeah, no mean. That's the rule of life.
No mean
be
tweets,
nice,
man.
I need to be more nice. I need to start being nicer.
315.70.
Sorry, Lemming Meta guy.
315.70 was your pop here this morning just before 6 a.m. Leaking now $3 on this one. S&P's leaking just a tad. We're 7 points off the pre-market high. No big deal at all. But you can use that target if you want at 315.70. If you're looking to buy this thing on a gap fill, you got to get down to 309.45. I think you got a better chance of getting down to that 310 area than you do testing that pre-market high.
All right. I didn't want to have to come back to Disney, but there is some kind of developments that are going through there. So I'll just bring them.
Sure.
Didn't want to stay on it so long, but of course we're getting new developments. So Disney said that it's held early conversations to find a new strategic partner for ESPN. Disney also open to selling and spinning out legacy cable network and ABC. And this is something that I've been pointing to that you're seeing from a lot. Remember, I talked about it earlier in the week about Charter Communications and how they started switching over and they're trying to do like sport light tiers and things like this. I think we finally can really say that the consumer has cut the cord. And this shows also that, right? That, hey, if they're trying to spin that out, there's a reason why. They just don't see it profitable anymore to have these networks. What I think is important is Disney. Just pull all your content off cable television and put it on Disney Plus. Make it exclusive.
That's what they have to do. That's what they have to do.
That's what I think is the only move here.
Yeah, they got to. I mean, it's just, you know, the content and the competition is just like, maybe, but I guess they tried that with Disney Plus. They got a I don't know. I think the sports. I think right now they can figure out that ESPN because people still love their sports, and that's still getting some
I
traffic.
mean, I
They're
think
just
they ruined
cutting
their
people right
opportunity
and
there.
left there. But did we
I
do the
think they
nuts?
should. I think with the movies too, when they're making new movies, they should go straight to Disney Plus and charge like $29. Like that's what they're doing on some of the movies. I think they should do that more. Go straight to Disney Plus with your new movies because they can make some good content. Yeah, the content has sucked in the last little while, but they can make some good content. I think you start like going pay for your new movie that they're dropping 100 million on, throw it straight to Disney Plus. Skip the middleman, take all the money, watch it on Earth. I think that's maybe the way I would go, but we're not running it.
That's the truth. All right, Joel, you said you wanted to maybe just do fast real quick.
Yeah, the nuts and bolts of the economy.
All right, fast EPS came in at 52 cents versus priors of 50 cents. Sales of 1.88 billion, missed 1.89 billion estimate. I don't really trade fast, so I'll kick it to you guys.
They bought the dip. We talked about this a little bit earlier, underneath demand, pre-market low, 56.37. Also had lining up with the daily low. You lined up with your June 23rd low and your June 21st low. So there's a good level for you. If we come back down, on the upside, when you trade that deep in the red, your closing price, if they can rally us, I think you find sellers ahead of that close at 58.73. So trading in the red, but a buck off the pre-market low.
All right, let's wrap it up here. It's 8:56. We'll start to wrap up. Joel, how do you see the market overall? What levels
It's
should we be watching?
8:56. We could do.
We could do one more here.
Why don't we do some ticker time here?
All right, what do you guys got out there? What do you got? I saw earlier a question was asked to you, Joel, and it was particularly to you. It was about First Solar. I played this yesterday to the upside as just a day trade. I know that Dennis with a good call on ENPH yesterday. That also got going. We've started to see energy coming back. So I think that with energy continuing to the upside, that's what I'm going to be looking for solar to continue the lift.
Okay. All right. Not much as far as resistance goes here. Up trading up only 9 cents. I mean, really the only thing you have to go with is the high from yesterday, 196.79. Get up there. Maybe you make a run at 200. On the downside here, if yesterday's low, boy, this thing is volatile. I think with old market conditions staying the same, if you want to own this thing, you're going to have to find a potential bid quite a ways ahead of yesterday's low at 190.54. So that's what I'm seeing. Someone also asked about AMD. How's AMD looking here? I just would say it really hasn't participated over the last couple days, peaking on that expiration day at a little bit before that at 132.83. I keep a close eye on 115.40 right now. That's where we're trading. That's yesterday's high, 15.40 and 15.33. The next target on the upside, 117.66. What else do we got pouring in here?
I think a good one to talk about is PanW. Remember yesterday, Microsoft's mention of them getting into cybersecurity, really affecting cybersecurity stocks.
Yeah.
You saw all of them take a hit yesterday. Yeah. PanW take a seat back. I'm looking for maybe 50% retracement of the recent move. But that's just a good old Joel Elconin and Dennis.
Yeah, that's a candle that catches a lot of people, and it was on news, and it was on competition from somebody you don't want competition from. It's Microsoft, so that's not good news. Dip is getting bought. I think I'd be a seller over 240s though, for the same reason, Mitch. I think you may see another move to the downside here. I don't know if that's is that like official or is that rumors that Microsoft's going to get into? I didn't read the headline, but I mean Microsoft competition. I don't want competition from Microsoft or Apple. They just have too deep of pockets.
Yeah, I think to get you just hit let's just call it like 30-point move here. So you'd really need to get up like to 246, 247 in order to get halfway back of that move. When I'd be looking, you can sell in the strength right now, but I think if you take out that low from yesterday, not too far away, $4 away. I don't see much. Only one daily low at 229, and then that 220 to 230 area looks pretty wide open. So they hit that. They also hit CrowdStrike, CRWD. That had a bad day, getting a small bounce. You don't want to see these things going red on the session. Zscaler, that's getting a pop too. So early
Zscaler
check.
is one that's some of these are lower components in the QQQ, so we do have to keep in mind the rebalancing here. It is, important. We're going to get the official announcement here tomorrow. So, and we know, and again, I'm just going to reiterate, this market anticipates nothing because it's algorithmic driven, and the programmers who are behind that probably didn't program in there to account for the special rebalance that's happening, going to be announced tomorrow. So I would not be surprised if actually Tesla and Nvidia and all those stocks actually went down on the news, which is insane because we all know the news. But just this market's so algorithmic driven, simplicity is just working for humans. If you can just simplicity anticipate a headline, and I've made money doing this for a lot of years, the simple thought process, the Barbie trade, Chris Camillo all over that. I mean, MAT, the Barbie trade. Well, look at MAT, the simplicity. Simple strategies are shockingly efficient. They're shockingly good. And they're even better than they used to be. I mean, Mattel's coming out with a Barbie movie. It's really gonna, make a lot of girls want to go buy Barbie.
I'm ready for it to disappoint. I'll just
literally
tell you that much.
18 to 22. We are up here huge into this.
When's it coming out?
I think
This
it's July
comes out,
24th.
I think the 20
No,
21st.
when is it, Mitch?
21st. Let me just check right quick.
21st?
I think it was the 21st, but 21st. Yeah, July 21st. I wasn't too wrong. It already premiered though in Los Angeles on July 9th. Just to kind of put that out there.
All right. 22 right on the kit. Well, 2203 yesterday's high. So looks like we're opening up at the top of Monday's or top of Wednesday's range. S&P's just real quick.
One before you go. TTD announced it will replace Activision Blizzard in the NASDAQ 100. But you know what's interesting here, though, is it's not done yet, the deal. You got the rumors last night. Bloomberg's going to charge. Did a new headline come out? Bloomberg has said that the FTC will challenge the Activision deal. So it looks like, and Microsoft says they're disappointed the FTC for continuing to pursue their weak case. So, I don't know if I think eventually this deal is going to get pushed through anyways, but interesting, they're already kicking ATVI out, and the deal is not done yet because the FTC is still challenging the deal. The saga continues here. Looks like it's done. No, FTC. Well, that's rumors yet. Not official announcement. Bloomberg rumoring last night that the FTC will challenge the Activision Microsoft deal.
All right, I'm going to hop off here, Mitch. I'll let you guys take it the rest of the way, and back with you later on.
All right, guys, stick around.
What's happening with Amazon here? Oh, largest Prime Day ever.
So who's talking about Prime?
Again, the market that prices in absolutely nothing. Oh, my goodness. Amazon had their best Prime Day ever. Buy. Algos, buy. This market, just get ahead of the simplicity.
It's bubbles, man. This is the bubble environment,
about bubbles,
man.
Mitch. It's about just common sense.
Well,
the market has none.
Goldilocks. Let's call it Goldilocks. It's straight at Goldilocks. Anything to the positive is viewed as extremely positive right now. It seems like.
So the headline released here at 9 a.m. from The Wire. First day of Prime Day was the single largest sales day ever on Amazon, helping make this the best Prime Day ever. Did we actually think that Amazon wasn't going to have their best day ever? People are buying stuff all over the place. I mean, anyways, I guess they thought, I guess this market didn't think that. It's up 2% right now. So just buy it ahead of Prime Day and you sell it now, I guess. I'm long Amazon, full disclosure.
Yeah, it was a really nice, easy trade, especially when you get a nice little drop out the gates on Monday. Well, that was a nice little opportunity there, knowing that Prime was coming up the very next day, right? I think those types of things we got to catch. All right, that's going to do it for us here on Pre-Market Prep. Like always, you guys can catch Dennis Dick, Triple D Trader. I do want to tell you guys what we have later today. We got a huge virtual event today, AI and the future. We'll have Qualcomm's president, CEO, we'll have a bunch of different opportunities that you guys can be looking in, of course, the growing space that's AI right now. If you guys want to go ahead and learn more, cover topics such as AI and business transformation, ethical AI, AI and data privacy, and of course, the future of work with AI. Come catch that later today at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss that, team. It's going to be a really good show. Of course, I'm going to be doing multiple interviews, so I want to see you guys there. And like always, right? One thing with AI that we need to do is we need to really look inside these companies and see how they're using AI. If you want to find out some great opportunities, I'll see you guys on at 11 a.m. Up next, we got, of course, live trading that will get you over to that event. So if you guys want to see some live trading action from Ryan Faluna and myself, let's go get after it. I had a really nice day yesterday, even traded smaller names like RXRX. Let's see what we can get into today. And let's see. I'm ready. I've been doing pretty good, bouncing back in the Moo account. Really nice trade there on Warner Brothers earlier in the week, mentioned right here on pre-market prep, of course. I'll see you guys over on live trading and at the AI event later today at 11. Smash the like. Let's get it going, team.